Shabbat shalom, everyone. Tonight, I would like to talk about some of the symbolic significances in this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh. To begin, I would like to open with a little self-disclosure. I'm finishing up my rabbinic thesis. My topic compares superheroes of antiquities like Gilgamesh, Samson, and Hercules to modern superheroes, Superman, Batman, Captain America, and compares who was writing the stories, why they were writing them, and what the impact they had on their society. Because I'm so immersed in this topic right now, I'd like to open my sermon with the credo of Hal Jordan, a hero. Does anybody know who Hal Jordan is? Green Lantern. The following quote is credited to a Jewish writer from New York named Alfred Bester. He wrote a lot of the early Green Lantern work. "In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light." This quote is particularly relevant to this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh. It makes me beg the following questions. Why do we follow light? Why is good associated with light? And most importantly, why are Jews so transfixed with light? Light and white are usually associated with good, while black and darkness are usually associated with evil. Think of Star Wars, where the light side of the Force battles the dark side of the Force. Or Greek mythology, the underworld is inhabited by Hades and is depicted as a chthonic realm of darkness, contrasted by the resplendent glory of Mount Olympus. Even closer to home is the creation story, where the first thing God does is separate light from darkness. The Torah states that God saw that the light was good. Whether that is literal or a figurative good is up to you. So naturally, we Jews are fixated on the idea of light, in particular, as seen in this week's parashah in regards to the Ner Tamid, or eternal light. The Ner Tamid's original purpose in the Torah was to act as a tangible reminder of God's presence in our camp. The priests would fill the lamp with oil every day, and the flame would continue burning. After the destruction of the temples, the Ner Tamid we see in every sanctuary across the country still serves a similar purpose, to symbolize God's presence, hearkening back to the light which shone from the temple itself. I remember thinking as a child, shouldn't white and light be associated with evil because white is so easily stained, and it takes a lot less energy to extinguish light than it does to produce it? But I believe that this is the crux of the idea of goodness being associated with light and good. It is hard to maintain a strong moral compass. Being good, performing acts of kindness, and any other virtuous quality we can think of takes work. You never hear anyone say, "I'm going to try to be a meaner person today." No one ever says, "I'm working on being crueler." Trying to stay pure, clean, and holy is a hard task, and one that never ends. The Ner Tamid was a physical representation of God's eternal presence. It is the simplest, most tangible embodiment of our covenant with God. And we need that light because it is human nature to fear darkness, both literally and figuratively. We fear the unknown. We have evolved to be weary of that which lurks in the shadows and that which seeks to prey on us. So the ever-present, ever-burning light is a symbol, like the Green Lantern's light, that no matter how dark or bright our situation is, God's presence, or a symbol of order in a chaotic world, is always eternal. But beyond the literal understanding of the flame, there is a figurative symbolism as well. Isaiah references it when he explains that the Jewish people are to be Or Lagoyim, a light unto the nations. The Jewish people are God's kingdom of priests. We are supposed to be moral exemplars who should act with righteousness and spread light of the Ner Tamid and all that it represents. We have the unenviable task of seeking out evil and darkness and casting our light into the shadowy recesses that lurk throughout the world. But how can we achieve this task? How is any of this even possible? The answer is quite simple, surprising, and symbolic. olives. I know what you're thinking. Olives? What do olives have to do with light and goodness? Well, olives were the source of fuel used in the Ner Tamid. There are stark parallels that we as Jews can draw upon from the olive tree. Another major prophet, Jeremiah, called the Jewish people a verdant olive tree, fair with choice fruit. Let's examine this metaphor fully, and then we will understand all the better what Isaiah meant when he referred to us as a light unto the nations. Olive trees are old, very old. Some olive trees alive today are somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 3,000 years old. That's about as old as we are as a people. Olive trees have no doubt seen their share of harsh conditions and unforgiving climates, just like the Jews. And yet the Jews and olive trees have endured. To extract the oil from olives, the fruit of the olive tree is cut, crushed, ground, and pressed to extract the precious oil from it. This is similar to what Jews all over the world have endured in some capacity. The Jewish people know what it's like to be cut. We know what it's like to be crushed, ground, and pressed, until every last bit of our souls is extracted. But that oil, that very essence which we each possess, was the fuel for the Ner Tamid, and is the fuel, I believe, that Isaiah alludes to when he calls us a light unto the nations. Our heritage, our history, our value, all imbue us with a moral imperative to continually produce the oil in us, which is so valuable. And despite the violent process of the extraction the olives go through, and despite the tree and the tree of life still endure to produce generation after generation of olives, we, as symbolic olives, must be propagators of peace. As we sink our roots in the ground and spread our branches out, each branch must represent the peace we are trying to spread in ourselves and into others. We should hope that one day a dove will pluck one of our branches and deliver it to some unsuspecting sailor to let them know that the choppy waters on which they sail will soon calm. This is the influence we can have as individuals and as a group. So may it be God's will that we all endure the hardships of being an olive, so that our oil, our essence, may be a source of light to each other and to the nations. Shabbat Shalom.